I am back in Mumbai. Hello, hi, Kim Cho Badda. Just the other day, I was talking about how I was feeling trapped and like I'm not able to move back to Mumbai, but here I am. I'm back. I'm happy to say that. Let's talk about today's episode of how every single person at this point has a podcast and nothing to say at all. Like every single person at this point has a podcast, whether you have something to say, whether you don't have anything to say, there needs to be a podcast for that, right? There are just too many video podcasts, which sounds hilarious to me. The whole studio setup, 3 cameras, switching between 3 different angles, how funny. All to say, fuck you. I am better than you. My dick is bigger than yours. Look at PR content. I'm churning out, making people's image more better. It has sort of become less about the conversations and more about the reach and the image that I can make or form in audience's mind after I come on a certain podcast. Also, like, just the top 10 podcasters are all individuals who are from a specific gender, male. I used to work in a proper podcasting industry with this company producing with some very well known figures in the game. A lot of times there were 2 or 3 people in the podcast. It's all about who is the loudest. It isn't about logic or who is correct. Also, have you noticed even the industry is heavily dominated by men? Imagine the power their conversation hold and what they choose to do with it. Also, does anyone really watch video podcasts anymore? The amount of push for it is very, very real. I mean, people listen to it in their car while commuting one place to another, or while doing chore, or while in even an office, like multitasking at the same time while listening to something in the background. I don't think podcasts were ever meant to be in video format, but whatever the market demands is what we give them. I get it, makes sense. More money, more visual communication and connection to the community. ठीक है. The podcast has somewhere become, a proof of intellectual depth, even when it is absent. That, hey, I'm intelligent. Look at me. Look at how much information I'm providing. Where in fact, are people even into it? Sometimes it's only about networking and wanting to hang out with people in power, where guests are considered trophies, their biggest life achievements, having someone on their podcast, basically. And one of the major factor is to stay relevant in the creator economy. That, hey, I understand what's up, what people are into, I'm relevant and I know what people want, when in fact they aren't relatable at all and don't know what holds in people's heart. Between such big voices, I also feel small voices are lost. I'm very sure there are some amazing regional podcasters creating Fado content that we've haven't even discovered yet. Like, a lot of podcasters have become English first, and now that there are lack of good Hindi podcasters out there, I'm questioning Q. Chase for tier 1 urban upper class in the name of polished mediocrity. I mean, my podcast is English, but again, I barely reach like 10 people due to my Instagram. I'm okay with that. Like, 10 people, if 10 people are tuning in, I'm okay with that. I'm talking about in a bigger grand scheme of things. I mean, I will admit it is very tough industry to survive in. Same for YouTube, as a lot of people are there from the start of it all, and hence, जो भी first in the game raha hai, first in the market raha hai, have gotten an upper hand over it. Let's be honest, ठीक है. I have come to terms with it. Have you also noticed how the top 10 Indian podcasters are all men? And if galti se there is a female, she shares the podcast with a man. It's not that she is leading the podcast, which is so freaking sad. Let's not fall into this, because I know I will trip. I know I will spiral out of control as to how the cult is formed and like how much power these men hold. Let's talk about what should actually, who should actually have the mic. Maybe these people already have a mic and are already producing podcast, and I'm not aware about it. So make me aware about it. Reach out to me on Instagram or DM or a YouTube comment. Let me know if they have a podcast. Somebody give Seema Anand a podcast. Seema Anand Storytelling, a podcast show. She talks about sex, talks about actual problems, talks about how curious we are as human, and that no question is silly or stupid about sex. We need that. We so desperately need that. I mean, I have questions that I want to know कि भाई ये ऐसा करने से क्या is will this cause disease? Is this disease spreading activity? How do we protect ourselves from it? What do we do? Like people are curious about sex in general, and how do we maximize our pleasure. She is probably one of the most sophisticated lady I have ever come across, and the way she explains it all is easy, approachable, and what I appreciate the most is her education. Matlab, she holds a proper formal education in mythology. She is a storyteller and sex educator, and she tells stories about how to pleasure men and women and where Indian history stands out on it and what historians did. I mean, we wrote Kama Sutra, so we should know a thing or two about pleasure instead of, defacing yoga paintings and Gwalior bahut zaruri hai bhai, sex and sex education. Another podcast that people should actually be doing is on arranged marriage and the kind of people in the system, the incels, the talks, the weird and the bizarre, the dowry fight, the alimony fight, the system of it all. Maybe a divorce lawyer would be the best person to tell stories about, their clients, or like, of course, I know confidentiality इसमें भी होता है, but they don't need to like point fingers and name names कि भाई इसके साथ ऐसा हुआ था, उसके साथ वैसा हुआ था. But like, ठीक है, I want someone to do like an expose, like how Desi Crime podcasters do it, exposing crime one episode at a time, sharing horrible, weird experiences that only happen in the Indian community and society. But I also think people need to write in to the podcasters sharing their experiences, real life experience कि मेरे साथ ऐसे हुआ था. I wish किसी के साथ ना हो. I wish ये सब society जाने कि ऐसे हुआ था. Like exposing, putting a light on such incidences, that would be amazing to learn more about. Now that's podcasting and education. भाई कुछ तो इन्फॉर्मेशन मिले उससे, कुछ बकवास नहीं कर रहे, टाइम पास नहीं कर रहे हैं. मेरे पास ऑनेस्टली लाइक आप सुन रहे हो कुछ तो, यू वॉन्ट टू बी अ बेटर पर्सन, यू वॉन्ट टू नो इन्फॉर्मेशन, यू वॉन्ट टू नो स्टफ. जस्ट टाइम पास के लिए आप कर रहे हो, विच मेक्स नो सेंस एट ऑल टू मी एट दिस पॉइंट इन स्टेज इन माई लाइफ. लाइक ठीक है, आपके पास टाइम है, आपको टाइम पास करना है, मेक सेंस. देयर आर फक टन ऑफ पॉडकास्ट आउट देयर, बट लाइक if you can take something out of the podcast, I think that would be amazing. And this could be so good, like a divorce lawyer sitting down and talking about this, like just shit arranged marriage systems and the incels. Like I'm 110% sure there are so many incel people here in India, and like how they are set up, like they need to be set up in an arranged marriage because they are not able to find. It's just so sad, and like I don't know, like anyways, another podcast. I want like actual professional to do their podcast, not people who want to be podcasters, like a firefighter, or his everyday stories, whose life he saved, what were the conditions like, who were present in a scenario, or even a funny aesthetician with their client stories कि आज उन्होंने ये सुना, या some nail person doing somebody's nail and like just overheard client stories or client talks about something funny or something weird, just recording it while doing his nails. They can set up a podcast, a mic, and like just record something. Like that would be interesting to listen to. Instead, we got content factories with microphones. I सबको microphone दे दिया at this point. Like we need to slow the fuck down with content. Honest conversations चाहिए, more vulnerable pieces of work, more softness. Not men under in their 30s, under 30 discussing childbirth and women's mental health and physical health. I mean, in a country where millions are already unheard, the podcast boom ensured that the loudest voices found yet another microphone. Like, that's just sad.